I saw something the other day and I said, I have to comment on this.
No, you really, really don't, Kent.
Mr. Nelson, who calls himself Ra, the sun god, Ra did a video, RIP DPR. RIP, what does that mean? You would think it would mean rest in peace, right? But DPR was an atheist. So I thought, isn't that bizarre that one atheist would say something after another atheist dies and ask, like he's talking to him and saying, rest in peace. Aaron, what did you mean by RIP?
Kent, you really shouldn't be trying to police atheists on if they can say RIP or not, considering you're a Southern Baptist. That falls under the umbrella term of Protestant Christians, and Baptists believe that it's only through faith that you can be saved and go to heaven, and not through your works. And saying RIP is unbiblical, and it's a superstition that's based on Roman Catholicism, and we all know how you feel about Catholics, Kent. You don't think they're real Christians.
You did let's see, D.P.R. Jones is his name. He's done a lot of, never heard of him until Aaron mentioned his name, and so I did some Googling, like, wow, this guy's outspoken atheist. The Thinking Atheist radio podcast, number 52, okay. RIP, let's see, what do you mean by that, Aaron? Does it mean rest in peace? Well, let me talk about that just for a minute. If D.P.R. Jones were judged by the standards and laws given in the Bible, would he be considered and judged as being wicked by God's standards? Yeah, okay. The Bible says the wicked are like the troubled sea when it cannot rest. Here you are asking him to rest in peace. I don't know, never heard of him, never met him. But if indeed he was judged before God as wicked, he's not going to be resting. It's not going to be RIP, Aaron. There is no peace, saith my God, to the wicked. Revelation 14, the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever. They have no rest day nor night. They don't rest in peace. If they're not saved and forgiven, have their sins forgiven, it's silly to ask them to rest in peace. The tree of the knowledge of good and evil, God said, thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day thou shalt eat thereof, thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. And the serpent said to the woman, ye shall not surely die. He's calling God a liar, which is what you atheists do. You say God's word is a lie, it's not true. If you do what I say, honey, you can be like God. And this is the whole evolution theory in a nutshell. Did D.P.R. Jones use his talents, and he was apparently a very brilliant man, did he use his talents and his charisma and his British accent to draw people away from believing in God and believing they came from a rock? Would D.P.R. say, this is what I believe, we started off billions of years ago, you add, let's see, billions of years, and turns nothing into everything. That's what they teach, isn't it? They get mad at me for pointing it out. So if he turned people away from God, I don't think he's going to be resting in peace. There's no peace, saith my God, to the wicked. Did he use his talents and charisma to try to draw people away from believing in God? It looks to me like he did. I never met him, but that's what. Did he use his talents to draw people, to draw children away from believing in God? He sure did. All kinds of activities to teach children evolution. There's no God, boys and girls, you got here by evolution. Bible says in Matthew 18, whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea.
That's a real nice veiled threat you have there, Kent. Since you're going to be reading this same quote over and over again for some reason, allow me to clarify it. The word offend in this verse means to influence someone, in this case a Christian child, to sin. Well, it isn't a sin to learn the facts about biodiversity and population genetics.
Same thing in Luke 17. Jesus said to the disciples, it's impossible, but that offenses will come, but woe to him through whom they come. It were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and he cast into the sea than that he should offend one of these little ones. So when God judges DPR, is he going to play back the video of everything he told children and find children to come testify that his testimony destroyed my faith in God and now I have to go to hell too because I never got saved?
If we're going by your doctrine of easy believism, then no. If that child already had faith in God, then that means they were already saved. And you can never lose your salvation, according to you, Kent.
It'd be an awful thing to draw children away from a belief in God. Rest in peace, R.I.P. Do you mean rest in peace? Or does R.I.P. mean roast in phosphorus? Yeah. Phosphorus is brimstone in the Bible.
No, it isn't. Sulfur is brimstone in the Bible, not phosphorus. Now, it's true that the two elements are next to each other on the periodic table, numbers 15 and 16, but this is no accident. You're lying about this because you know that brimstone isn't phosphorus.
There is Sodom. It's pure ash. You can go up and poke your finger into it. Would you find the sulfur balls here? Anna, do we have some of those? They're packed away somewhere if I got them. They're about golf ball size, 99.6 or something % pure sulfur. Wow. It rained sulfur. Phosphorus burns really, really hot. You know, you strike the match, it's got phosphorus on there. You know, phosphorus burns at 5,000 degrees. Our military has used phosphorus weapons on enemies, dropped bombs over there and burn them horribly. Many militaries have phosphorus grenades, phosphorus bombs. It is awful what it does. 5,000 degrees is warm. The Lord trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence his soul hateth. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fire, and brimstone, that's phosphorus, and a horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. That's what they're going to get. The wicked shall be turned into hell, and all the nations that forget God. Psalm 9. The smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever. They have no rest, day nor night. I think it's silly to talk to, who are you talking to when he's dead, and say rest in peace? You talk like you're talking to him.
He's talking to their mutual fans, letting his audience know about it as well as DPR's family. Also, it's common for people who have lost a close friend or family member to talk out loud like they're speaking to them, or even text or email them for weeks. People deal with grief in different ways, Kent, and Aaron can do whatever method he wants.
And I feel bad for his family. I'm not trying to do any damage to the family, or if he had a widow or children, I don't know. But I think you need to stop and think about what you're saying. Rest in peace. The Bible says the fearful, the unbelieving, I think that would include DPR, and certainly would include you, Aaron, you're not a believer. The abominable, the murderers, the whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, phosphorus, which is the second death. See, the first death is when you die and you close your eyes and this body, you die from this body. There's a second death, according to the Bible. Of course, you don't believe that. Mark chapter 9. Whoso shall offend one of these little ones that believe in me, teaching children evolution, drawing them away from God, it is better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and he were cast into the sea. If thy hand offend thee, cut it off. It's better to enter into the life maimed than having two hands to go into hell, into the fire that never shall be quenched. In peace, roast in phosphorus, or does it mean R.I.P.? Could that mean rot into pieces? Isn't that what the atheists really believe? All right, if your religion of evolution is true, D.P.R. Jones is not resting in peace. He's rotting into pieces. His body right now is falling apart in a casket someplace, turning back to dust. Isn't it?
No, he's not. I'm speculating, but I would assume that DPR's family chose to have him embalmed, since cremation tends to be a Catholic tradition. A non-embalmed body can take between 8 and 12 years to decompose all the way to a skeleton, but an embalmed body can last for several decades, sometimes indefinitely depending on various factors like the skill of the mortician, the type of casket used, and the temperature.
I can't believe there's a rock and roll group named the Rotting Corpse. That's a special kind of dumb. I don't understand it.
Okay, Boomer. Guess if you don't understand something, it must be dumb.
All right, if your religion of evolution is true, everyone who has ever died is simply rotting into pieces. R.I.P. They're not resting in peace. Why would you say such a thing? Rock and roll group glorifying death. If your religion of evolution is true, Stephen Hawking is not resting in peace. He's rotting into pieces, isn't he? Falling apart. Stephen Hawking was an atheist. Here's what he said about God, heaven, and his own death. Religion has been a force for evil throughout history. He said, I think a conventional afterlife is a fairy tale for people afraid of the dark. Well, I think he knows better now, doesn't he? Aaron, if your religion of evolution is true, everyone who's ever died is simply rotting into pieces. They're not resting in peace. Why would you say such a thing? Rest in peace, DPR. Who are you talking to? He's rotting. He's going to be nothing but a pile of bones and dust here. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. You're going to be eaten by maggots. You're going to rot into pieces. That's what happens. Is that really the end? Is that really rest in peace? R.I.P. Is that it? Is it rest in peace? Is it roast in phosphorus? Is it rot into pieces? What does R.I.P. mean to you?
How about rambling, idiotic pseudoscientist? One who will be back where he belongs soon, rotting in prison?